What's up, guys? For those of you who don't know me, I'm KinetiKz, one of the hunters in the guild. I wanted to go ahead and go over a few things that I thought might help us. Some of the things you might know, some of the things you might not. To get started, I figured I'd give you guys a little bit of an intro of where I'm coming from. For the last 11 years now, I have traveled around the US competing in video games, whether that is Halo, Call of Duty, Overwatch, PUBG. There's a lot of things that I've done. So I tend to try to min-max everything that I can and just be the best. I've played World of Warcraft since the launch of the game. I mained Hunter in all of vanilla. Burning Crusade through halfway of Cataclysm, I played an Enhancement Shaman. And after that, I played a Shadow Priest, Disc Priest for the last 10 years ever since. I've PvP'd, raided Battlegrounds, arenas, Mythic raiding, raid-led, guild-led, the whole deal, and now we're back at it in Classic. I brought some of my Mythic raid team with me to Classic. We have quit Mythic raiding and we are now full-time here, and it's been a blast. I love it. It's nice to be back to a different kind of game. There's some things that I noticed that we all do differently, and I just thought that maybe a different perspective might be helpful, and if it's not, fair enough. There's things that you know that's awesome. If there's things that you learned, even better. But I figured I'd go ahead and go over some things. So I want to give my perspective of what I think the specs, positioning, rotation, what you should be looking for, that kind of thing. I have a few examples set up. I'm going to release some more videos later on that kind of dive deeper into the nitty gritty. There's a lot of things that you can do to min-max to improve yourself. And I get that it's Classic WoW. As a hunter, you could push auto attack, auto shot, and go and make some coffee and come back, and I mean, the boss could die, you'll be fine. I get that it's not the same, but there are some things that would allow things to go faster. BM, I have tested out recently. I think it's best for leveling and solo gameplay if you're farming. Alternatively, the thought process is that it could be good against like casters and PvP. The realistic approach to that is you should never beat a mage, warlock, or shadow priest in a duel. So I see no purpose to play BM. So marksman's pretty much your pick in vanilla if you're trying to be serious. Looking at this, there are I think 3 specs that I lined up. Yeah. So the first one here is like kind of a pre-raid best in slot set. Because we don't have our 9% hit cap. This is one of the forum posts that I like to reference a lot. This guy really breaks down the math on it all and why it's 9% and then the PvP differences and whatnot. One thing to notice is that Trank Shot for us always has a 1% chance to miss. That's one thing to keep in mind, no matter whether you're 9%, 10%, 8% hit cap. 9% is our goal as marksman in PvE. So this was a suggested build for pre-raid best in slot, and the reasoning here is you go into the survival tree to get 3 out of 3 sure-footed, which is, like you can read here, increases your hit chance by 3%. So now you're only shooting for 6% off of your gear, which is much easier to obtain. So the thing that I like about this is increasing your health pool, which is nice while we're still in fresh gear. So this is good. I think this is a standardized basic build for pre-raid when you're looking for that hit percentage with sure-footed. Not a bad take. You are put into groups, if you haven't noticed already, within our raids to provide the True Shot aura to a group of melee players, typically warriors, rogues. So if they're in your group, they probably want that True Shot aura, so it'd be ideal if you provide that. As a hunter, you're not supposed to be #1 DPS. If you ever are, this is the stage within the raid tier of vanilla that you ever would be. Hunters suck. If you want to be really, really good at DPS, reroll now, because you're never going to be. You shouldn't win in a duel. You shouldn't win in a boss fight, single target, multi-target, trash pull. You're there for support. And that's the sad truth. So, welcome to the club, man. This is what you're at. You're supposed to be supporting with your traps, some DPS, some utility, that kind of thing. This is an alternative that I developed for sure-footed. As you can see, I'll go ahead and hover back and forth for a second here. There are some differences, right? So the previous guide recommended got some extra parry chance and some extra melee crit. For me, there's different levels that you can do in terms of difficulty to make yourself put out more damage. 5% extra parry. What's it actually going to do? If I'm in a, like, I base myself off of raids. If I'm in a raid and I have to have increased parry chance, I'm as good as dead. I'm already doing something wrong. I think it's a waste. So I like to PvP, or like if I'm in against, I think I like dungeons, right? If I ever have to like be in melee range, my first go-to thought process is I'm gonna wing clip this to slow it so I can get away from it and go back to doing range damage, because that's what my class is based about, right? So I instead put improved wing clip in there for that extra chance to root. I'll grab the extra health and then I'll get my sure-footed. So that's the way that I look at this. So I grabbed 1 point in concussive shot because I know it's a 4% chance. It's not much, but I like it. I don't know, when it happens, it feels really good. I also pick up scatter shot. Again, I like to do PvP. I know I said I'm basing this primarily around raid, but scatter shot can be game breaking. And then PvP, again, it's pretty awesome. So I take 1 improved hunter's mark. I know one of you guys is running 5 out of 5 hunter's mark, which is great. So I always allow that person to put it on the boss instead. I try to put it like on our off target. So in the fights where there's 3 mobs or so, I'll put it on, you know, we're going to kill this mob first. It's not much, but an extra 3% is an extra 3%. I'm not going to be upset about it. And then I like improved aspect of the hawk a lot. I know the previous guide version wasn't taking it at all. When I get this, it feels incredible. An extra 30% attack speed is nuts, and it'll last for quite a while too. When you line this up with your rapid fire, it's insane. Like, it stacks, and it's obnoxiously fast. It's like, in order to not clip an auto attack, I can't multi-shot sometimes. It's pretty wild. It's pretty cool. So these are our guild logs, right? So you can look at our guild on our server, right? Here's our guild website. Right now, we're number 342 in the world. In our region, North America, we're number 131. And overall, for our realm, we're in the top 10. Between all port and alliance, we're in the top 10. Not going to complain, especially because we started later in a lot of guilds. That's pretty sick. Right now, out of all of the raids we have done, these are our average logs. So you can see everyone's like averages here across all the bosses. And what this does is this compares your personal performance against every other person who has been logged before within your class on that particular boss. So right now, like on average, our best player in our entire guild is DTD, basically is what this means. Okay? He just performs better as a mage, better than every other mage in the world that logs or has been logged without them knowing, which is a lot more than people realize. And that's just a comparison. So against mages, he's better than like 83.4% of the mages on average throughout the entirety of Molten Core, right? So you can see how this all pays out, right? So our goal is to get everybody around this area, right? Like, I'm upset that I'm losing to DTD now because week 1 I was beating him, week 2 he was beating me, and here we are after, you know, week 3. And yeah, well, DTD, I hate you with love. He and I give each other shit all the time. It's okay. But I'm beating Jamie, so eat it. So the thing we're trying to do is, you know, get us off here and move us up here. So this, again, if everyone was on the same page, it'd make everything go quicker. I don't mean to come off the wrong way. I know it's just a game. I know it's classic. I'm just trying to offer my thought processes, and if it's helpful, awesome. And if you want to say fuck you, then fuck me, I guess, right? There's a lot of things you can analyze with this. So I know I was looking at a few of them, right? And I saw that, like, I think the one I was looking at most recently was a Ragnaros kill. And it was, like, I think I had, like, 5 times more aim shots and 8 times less arcane shots. So that's kind of like, let's go over this real quick. Luckily, I already beat the queue, so I'm logged in. So your typical rotation, right? Like, if this is Rag, Mimidin, nice, dude, must be a Red Paladin. So my typical rotation is I'm going to start with an auto shot, and you're going to go into an aimed, and then you're going to auto attack, and then you're going to multi-shot, and then you're going to auto attack, and then you're going to auto attack, and then you're going to aim shot and auto attack and multi-shot and auto attack. You need to make sure that you are never clipping your auto attacks, which Unfortunately, there's not target dummies, so I didn't put myself in a good spot to be showing you this. But I have a clip, so we'll go ahead and analyze that a little bit. But basically, you never really want to be pressing Arcane Shot. The only time that I'm pressing Arcane Shot is when the boss has like 3% health, and I know if I hit auto or if I hit aimed shot right now, it's not going to go off, and multi-shot's on cooldown. So the only thing you can do at that point is then Arcane, because everything else you're going to do is irrelevant, right? Like I can throw out a Serpent Sting, but one, are there debuffs? Two, it's going to like tick 3 seconds later and the boss is dead for less damage more than I mean, yeah, it's just, you only have one option. That's when you Arcane Shot, right? Or if you unfortunately like have to move or something and you're not like, I guess, Rag, if you get knocked up and you're in the air and this is where you would aim shot, but you can't do anything. So you're going to Arcane Shot as you fade away into the lava because now it's on cooldown where you can't aim shot, but you got to run through the lava and back up the ledge and everything. So it's not like you'd be wasting that, like, you know, global cooldown of a sense, 8 seconds, whatever it is, right? So that's your rotation. It's that easy. I know Classic is a meme. At least we're not, you know, Ret Paladins or Frost Mages. Yeah, DTD, I know you only press Frostbolt. So you got more going on. But I mean, alternatively, like, you're going to sit here with Aspect of the Hawk on. You're going to throw on your aura, and you're literally going to auto aimed. Wait for the auto to go off. Here's the bar, right? This is the bar that I use. So, like, basically what's going on here is, if you can see, I know it's kind of faded out a little bit, but this red line here means if I haven't completed an aim shot by this point, or sorry, a multi-shot, then what's going to happen is my auto attack is most likely going to be clipped. And if you don't know what clipping means, is like, you pressed an ability before your aim shot was able to be pulled back and fired. So now it's going to like wait an extra attack speed of your weapon to fire off an auto shot. And your auto shots do a lot of damage. So that's like a big priority because you do it so frequently. And they can hit, you know, as much as a non-crit aim shot sometimes when they crit. It's obnoxious. But that's the way that we work. Welcome to Classic. So you really want to make sure you are tracking this. So I would not want to aim shot if I'm beyond this point. And then this portion here where purple meets red is the drawback, right? So once my bar is going to be hitting that red margin, that's where I pull my bow back, and then I fire the shot when it reaches the end of the red. But if I'm really close to getting auto off, I'm going to let that auto go and then get my abilities on cooldown as quick as I can. Again, rapid fires are only cooldown. As hunters in vanilla, we have no defensive abilities, and we have one offensive ability on a 5-minute cooldown. This is one of the clips that I wanted to go over. So this was our Gar fight. So I start by trying to let these guys gather up some threat. I know I have Feign Death that resets your aggro. So my first thing was I started with an auto into an aimed. And right now, again, I'm just trying to position myself in terms of a max range. I'm going to get multis off. Now I'm autoing. I should be looking for an aimed here. There it is. I'm looking for an aimed. Aimed is off. Okay, now the auto, boom. The same thing with movement is, if I'm going to get my auto drawback soon, I'm going to stop moving when that drawback is going to be happening, so I can allow that drawback to happen to get an, you know, get an auto off. Auto aimed, auto multi, auto. Nothing's up, so I auto again. Aimed because it's up, auto. Multi because it's up, auto. And that's all that it is. That's our rotation. That's how you play optimally.
Yeah, this is big brain time.
Oh, wow.
Where we can get into like a more advanced tactic. There's some things that you can do to make your damage higher as a hunter, and that'd be melee weaving. I wouldn't recommend it right away within raids. Practice it in dungeons maybe, or in the real world. If you don't know what it is, basically your auto shot, your main hand, your offhand, or your two-hander, whatever you're using, are all on different auto attack timers. So because of that, you can like get an auto attack off, and then a raptor strike and a mob closer, and then an auto attack off, and an auto attack on with your melee weapon on the mob closer, and then an aim shot off, and then a you know what I mean. So you can be like damaging multiple things at the same time. And if you really are interested, we can really break down your logs. Consumables. I was spending about 70 gold on consumables every week, which is why it was taking me so long to get my mount. I'll put a video later about how I made money. I made 800 gold in a weekend. 700 gold in a weekend. I ended up selling my epic that I had in my bag, which put it at 800. But I made 700 gold in a weekend just off of Mara farming. I typically bring 10 of everything, 20 of food. So I'll bring 10 of these superior mana potions. I'll bring 10 of the superior healing potions. I'll bring 20 of the grilled squid. I'll bring 10 of the magic resistance potions. This is good on 2 of the fights. One that does it's the little lizard boy after the big fire boy. It makes sense. You know what I'm talking about, okay? He teleports to you. You guys are going to make fun of me. I don't remember the boss names, okay? But that one, obviously, arcane damage. Fire resistance doesn't do anything. What are you going to use? Oh, magic resist. Okay, cool. Yeah, okay, use magic resist. And same thing on Major Domo. I remember the name. Fire protection potion. I have greater fire protection potions. And I think that's about it. So I try to come prepared with everything that I have, right? Like when we did 20-man split runs on Elixir, some people know this. I went through 18 fire resistance potions because I would pre-pot with them, and then I would use another one, and then because everybody else is dying, I would use another one because I could instead of anything else. Because it keeps me alive. I never died in any of the fights because I'm coming as prepared as I can be. And I get that everybody has like different time constraints that they can play the game. So maybe they don't have enough time to play the game to get gear and money to get these consumables. That's fair. I know we don't need them. Again, it's just like the thought process of coming as like prepared as you can be, I suppose. That's my perspective of it. I hope some of this helped. It's been fun raiding so far. Looking forward to more of it. If there's anything that you guys want to go over that I missed, let me know. Looking forward to everyone getting their leafs. I'm going to make a video on how that worked out, the do's and don'ts, what you should bring, what you shouldn't bring, that kind of thing. For when you guys are going through that now that I have gotten to experience that joy. So, yeah, hope it helped. Message me anytime. It's fun raiding with you guys.